welcome. You're with the news today, your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point tonight. Did Rahul Gandhi put the Modi government on the back foot in his inaugural speech as leader of the opposition in Parliament? Also, part of a special series we're doing this week on India's new criminal laws. Our first guest will be P. Chidambaram. You'll have plenty more, therefore, on the show tonight. Tonight's top story. The leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, made his debut speech in the 18th Lok Sabha in his new avatar as the opposition leader. From NEET to Constitution, to Manipur violence, to the contentious Agnipath scheme, the Congress MP tried to target the Modi government on multiple issues. The other issue, which generated plenty of heat, was when Rahul Gandhi questioned the Modi government on whether they were Asli Hindus. A comment that got the Prime Minister, among others, to stand up and counter Rahul Gandhi. Today was a day when Parliament saw perhaps its most fiery debate in a very long time. So we're going to start our show by giving you a sense of what happened in Parliament today. Take a look.
Behind the left shoulder of Shivji is the Trishul. Now I would like you to understand that there is a reason that the Trishul, a weapon, has been placed behind the left shoulder. The Trishul is not a symbol of violence. It is a symbol of non-violence, and that is why it is placed in a place where Shiva cannot reach it with his right hand. If it was a symbol of violence, it would have been held in his right hand like this. It is a symbol of non-violence. That is why it is placed behind his left shoulder. When we fought the BJP, we were not violent. When we defended the truth, there was not an ounce of violence in us. And a very powerful idea that emerges from the idea of truth, courage, and non-violence. And that idea, of course, it is a symbol that many of you hate, but that idea is the Abhay Mudra, the symbol of the Congress Party, which, as you can see, is also in this image. And Jai Mahadev. And what that Rajnath Singh ji is looking very surprised. And what that Abhay Mudra shows, it is the next step of the evolution of the idea of facing the truth, fearlessness, and ahimsa. Satya and ahimsa, as Mahatma Gandhi used to say. And the Abhay Mudra is the idea that it is not good enough to just keep this internal. It is not good enough to not be scared. It is not good enough to use non-violence. It is also important that you make others not scared, that you help others become fearless, that you help others become non-violent. So in a sense, the Abhay Mudra is a projection from Shivji to the rest of the world about these two ideas. Of course, these two ideas were used by us, all of us, when we fought the British. And they were put forth by Mahatma Gandhi. Shivji कहते हैं डरो मत डराओ मत, अभय मुद्रा दिखाते हैं, अहिंसा की बात करते हैं, त्रिशूल को जमीन में गाड़ देते हैं, और जो लोग अपने आप को हिंदू कहते हैं वो 24 घंटा हिंसा हिंसा हिंसा, नफरत नफरत नफरत, असत्य सत्य असत्य।
पूरे हिंदू समाज को हिंसक कहना ये गंभीर विषय है।
किसानों को डराने के लिए आप 3 नए कानून लाए। प्रधानमंत्री ने उनसे कहा कि ये आपके फायदे के कानून हैं। सच्चाई थी कि वो अदानी जी अंबानी जी के फायदे के कानून थे। किसान खड़े हो गए, कहते हैं नहीं ये हमारा नहीं है, आप हमारे से हमारी मेहनत का फल छीनना चाहते हो, हम इस बात को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे। आप उनसे बात नहीं करते, आप बात नहीं करते, आप गले नहीं लगते, आप उन्हें आतंकवादी कहते हो।
उत्पादन की लागत पर कम से कम 50% जोड़कर एमएसपी दी जा रही है और नहीं दी जा रही। ये सत्यापित करें माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, ये गलत बयानी कर रहे हैं, ये सदन को गुमराह कर रहे हैं, गलत बयानी कर रहे हैं। आज भी एमएसपी पर खरीद जारी है और अभी खरीद की फसलों के एमएसपी के रेट किए। ये बताए जब इनकी सरकार थी तब एमएसपी कितनी मिलती थी और उस समय खरीद कितनी होती थी माननीय अध्यक्ष।
Speaker, so there are actually two people sitting in that chair. There is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, the Speaker of the Indian Union, and there is Mr. Om Birla. When Modi ji went and shook your hand, and I went and shook your hand, I noticed something. When I shook your hand, you stood straight like this and shook my hand. And when Modi ji shook your hand, you bowed down and shook his hand.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री सदन के नेता हैं और मुझे मेरी संस्कृति संस्कार ये कहते हैं, व्यक्तिगत जीवन में भी, सार्वजनिक जीवन में भी और इस आसन पर भी जो हमसे बड़े हैं उनको झुककर नमस्कार करो। मुझे यही सिखाया है और बराबर वालों से बराबर का व्यवहार करो, यही मुझे सिखाया है।
Okay, we'll have more excerpts from Rahul Gandhi's speech that went on for more than an hour, but let's raise the big questions here. Did Rahul Gandhi's first speech as leader of the opposition hit or miss the mark? Did Rahul Gandhi succeed in putting the Modi government on the back foot? Has Rahul Gandhi come of age as a parliamentarian? Or has the Modi government effectively countered Rahul? Does the face-off reflect the new realities of a stronger opposition in parliament? Joining us now is Shugata Srinivas Raju. He's an author of a book that's been written on Rahul Gandhi recently. R.P. Singh is BJP spokesperson. Gurdeep Singh Sappal is Congress Administrative Cell head as well as party spokesperson. And Amitabh Tiwari is a political strategist. Appreciate all of you joining us on the show tonight. Let me come to you, Shogato, because you wrote a book on Rahul Gandhi. Since then, Rahul Gandhi is now the leader of the opposition. What's your sense? Did Rahul Gandhi's speech hit or miss the mark? What is the impression you got from Rahul Gandhi today in Parliament?
Thank you, Rajdeep. The first impression that I got of today's speech was there was a bit of verbal excess in Rahul Gandhi. And his speech was as unstructured as ever. See, the results that we sort of got a month ago, the 2024 results, presented us with a certain picture of sobriety. And I had expected Rahul Gandhi to play the role of a reconciler. But I think he has chosen to play the role of a hellraiser and a muckraker and an anarchist. I think it's a little unsettling because, this whole thing was a bit of a verbal excess. Mm-hmm. And the last time you saw Rahul Gandhi in Parliament, that is when he was taking his oath, mm-hmm. he was waving the Constitution. But today, if you saw, he was showing religious, pictures of religious heads mm-hmm. and, gods. And there was a kind of slip, there's a kind of contradiction that I perceive from the kind of constitutional frame with which he wanted the parliament to function, with which he wanted the ruling party to function, and he thought the constitution was being assaulted, and suddenly he had drifted away into speaking his personal kind of, offering his personal gyan on a lot of things, mm-hmm. which made me very uncomfortable to say. But of course, Rahul Gandhi, when he speaks, a lot of things that he says is correct. One can't fault with the kind of issues that he raises. Mm-hmm. But the problem is he does not understand figures of speech. And parliamentary delivery is about figures of speech. You can say all that you want to say with a great deal of sarcasm, irony, nuance, and a kind of relish and a bit of humor. And I think, he has brought in a lot of bitterness and anger into the parliament from the campaign, which I thought was slightly disappointing, Rajdeep.
Very interesting the way you're putting it there, Shogato. Let me take that to Gurdeep Singh Sappal of the Congress. Rahul Gandhi, as rightly put by Shogato there, a few days ago waving the Constitution. today religious images, whether it's Shiva, whether it's Guru Nanak, it almost seemed as if Rahul Gandhi wanted to make a personal point when it came to challenging the BJP on its interpretation of Hinduism. Was that really necessary in an opening speech? Would he have been better off countering what the president's address had said point by point and giving us a sense that he had come into this new role as a mature politician aware of all the facts on every issue?
Thank you, Rajdeep. I think we have come a long way forward when on your channel, somebody asked Kaun Rahul, and today the same very person, for the first time in the history of parliamentary practices in India, the Prime Minister got up and interrupted Leader of Opposition during a debate. It has never happened before. And we saw Mr. Amit Shah asking for protection. From Kaun Rahul, we have come to this stage. So I think that should answer your question. First question, hit or miss.
No, was that the aim? If I may be, was that the aim to get under the skin of the Prime Minister? Was the aim to project, to virtually take on the President's address point by point?
The aim was very simple. The answer to that question was given by people of India. People of India have reduced Modi government to a minority. So that answer rests there. The aim today was very simple. It was a parliamentary debate. Parliamentary debate is not only about what President said. If you have been covering, and I know you have been covering Parliament for quite some decades now, this is also an occasion to speak on the ideology. And let us be very frank about this today. Today, the entire BJP response is around Rahul Gandhi's statement on RSS, Hindus are violent. This is what he said. Now, this election was fought on the question of ideology. It was RSS Hindutva versus Congress's secularism. And people of India have given the answer. BJP got 37% vote. We have 79.6% Hindus in this country. Majority of Hindus did not agree with RSS point of view. Majority of Hindus did not agree with RSS definition of Hindutva. They have voted against them. We have reached to a position where this country says that it's a secular country. And today Rahul Gandhi reminded Prime Minister of India that this is what India is saying. And he also reminded that Hindus of this country and people of this country overall are peace-loving people. They do not want divide and hate. RSS people know their every statement, their every policy is to divide people of India. I don't think they will also shy from claiming that thing because they always speak against certain sections of society.
So you're saying he was giving a certain ideological force and clarity to where the Congress stood on this contentious issue of Hinduism versus Hindutva, in a sense addressing perhaps his own flock and the opposition as much as the other side. I'll come back to you, Gurdeep, in a moment because...
There's one more question.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
This question was raised of constitutionality versus displaying the pictures of Lord Shiva and Guru Nanak. Here also, what he did was completely in line with constitutional practice, the parliamentary practice. Because today, even the speaker erred on this issue. He said from this stage, and he quoted a rule saying that you cannot display pictures. What the speaker forgot today, that rule pertains to people, to members who are protesting in the house, or members who want to raise some issue.
But why bring in religious figures at all? What was the need? What is that, as I said, only about getting under the skin of the BJP?
No, he is putting across a point that Hindu religion is much more than what RSS tells this country it is all about.
Okay.
He was telling the people of this India that it is not Hindu religion is not what RSS professes.
Let me get in Sardar RP Singh.
Taking kid Ram to Mandir.
Okay, you made the point.
People are offended by it.
You made your point. Let Sardar RP Singh respond. Sardar RP Singh, the BJP is, in a tizzy over what Rahul Gandhi did. They are holding press conferences saying Rahul Gandhi has insulted Hinduism. That's also a misinterpretation. Rahul Gandhi made it very clear that Hinduism stands for peace. It's the BJP, according to him, or Hindutvavadis, according to him, who have brought in violence and hatred into Hinduism. He made that distinction. He never said all Hindus, by any stretch of imagination, are responsible. He said just the opposite. Why is the BJP getting so hot under the collar?
Well, Rajdeep, good evening, and good evening to Mr. Sapal and your another fellow panelist on the debate. Rajdeep, I never expected anything more than this, because Mr. Rahul Gandhi, you are shielding Mr. Rahul Gandhi when he said Hindu hinsak hai. It was only after Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi checked in, he turned his tables. But initially what he said, please, I will appreciate, show that video clip, and that categorically, he categorically says, कि Hindu hinsak hai, and which Hindu is hinsak?
He said those who call themselves Hindu, let me be clear, I'll ask my producer to play it, but those who call themselves Hindus indulge in violence, referring specifically to the treasury benches and the BJP. Let's be very clear, let's be very fair.
I'll appreciate Rajdeep. Rajdeep, please play that video. And if it is to the treasury benches, I'll quit social life or you quit your journalism.
1 minute.
You are in heaven.
Yeah, 1 minute. He said no, 1 minute. Those who call themselves Hindus. No, Mr. R.P. Singh, you will not have the opportunity to try and target me in this manner. I am not Rahul Gandhi. You go and fight with Rahul Gandhi. Do not come here and mislead people. You come to programs to mislead. Do not do that.
No, I'm not misleading. I'll appreciate. Run that video again. I give you a challenge.
I will the entire. You have to run the entire video. You cannot pick and choose. I will run the entire video, which is 20 minutes. You can't pick and choose 20 seconds.
Only after the Prime Minister Modi intervened, he changed the narrative. But initially he said Hindu hinsak hai. आप सारे हिंसक हैं. What do you mean by that? Hindu hinsak hai.
He referred to the treasury benches.
In this country.
Okay, let Gurdeep Sapal, Sardar R.P. Singh is making a serious accusation. Sardar R.P. Singh, just a minute, sir, now.
Rajdeep,
yeah, go ahead.
Give me a second.
Please go ahead.
I need to complete.
Please go ahead.
I need to complete. Sapal sahab, which tenet of Sikhism? सिखों की कौन सी रात मर्यादा जो कहती है कि आप गुरु नानक साहब, श्री गुरु नानक देव जी की पिक्चर को एज ए प्रॉप यूज करेंगे फॉर योर पॉलिटिकल ऑब्जेक्टिव, फॉर योर पॉलिटिकल स्लगफेस्ट. आपका झगड़ा हमारे साथ है बीजेपी के साथ. बट व्हाई टू यूज साहब श्री गुरु नानक देव जी पिक्चर एज अ प्रॉप? इट इज अगेंस्ट द टेनेट ऑफ सिखिज्म. And then he is talking about that the violence has been done against Sikhism. The butcher of Sikhs was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi in his team.
Okay.
3,000 people were killed in Delhi by the idea of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, by the idea of Sanjay Gandhi, by the idea of Indira Gandhi put together.
Okay, you make a strong point, Sardar R.P. Singh. You have made a strong point which Sapalji should respond. Sapalji, the point I also made earlier, using religious symbols, whether it's Guru Nanak, whether it's Shiva in Parliament, can be open to misinterpretation. It can actually defy what you claim you want to stand for, which is constitutional values. You've given the BJP a handle now. They will now play on their own pitch. They will use those 30 seconds.
Rajdeep, I think we are not worried what BJP will do. They have spent 10 years quoting Rahul Gandhi out of context. They have spent 10 years propagating videos which are manipulated or clipped. I think country has understood this. And people of India who do not agree with RSS divisive ideology know what Rahul Gandhi said. He very clearly pointed towards the treasury benches and said, "Aap log jo Hindu apne ko kehte ho." And nobody who is opposed to RSS ideology will have any disagreement with Rahul Gandhi. And I think the country's politics has moved beyond that. People know what Rahul Gandhi stands for, what he was speaking. And here also, you can see what Mr. R.P. Singh was doing. He was trying to again create a divide. It's not a question of divide, R.P. Singh ji. People of India know what RSS stands for. It stands for dividing India, dividing ideology. Now, yeah, please.
Okay, just a minute. I'm going to lower both your voices because, just a minute, we do not want to, let's try and avoid the kind of divisive debates that can come through religious politics. Let's focus on the facts. Amitabh Tiwari, How did you judge this speech? I asked Shogato Srinivasaraju, and he made a good point. He said he thought that Rahul Gandhi could have used this opportunity to emphasize constitutional values to take on the president's address one point by point. Instead, he came across as angry and bitter in a way, according to Shogato, which was needless. Do you think that was needless, this confrontational attitude, or is he carrying the momentum from the elections?
See, I think he is carrying the momentum from the elections, and what he showed clearly today is that he cannot be taken lightly. So he needs to be taken seriously. We saw 3 to 4 ministers, including the Prime Minister, had to intervene when he was making those speeches. See, what the leader of opposition position helps Rahul Gandhi in a way that it gives him the leeway. Because as leader of opposition, you can speak whenever you wish to. If he was just an ordinary member of parliament, he would not have been able to do that. Now, of course, he was largely speaking to the converted. Converted as in the people who have largely supported the Congress and the India bloc, saying that he will continue to raise the voice of those voters. Now, as he progresses and matures into a leader, we could see a more mature Rahul Gandhi in the months to come in the parliament, because this was his first speech. He could get carried away. But I think deliberately also he does not want to portray an image that he is invincible, that he knows all, that he is the Mr. Perfect.
So he's trying to contrast himself in a way with the Prime Minister, trying to project himself as more raw and spontaneous. As a result, maybe the use of the words are unfortunate, but let's for a moment, RP Singh, since you asked me to play the words, I will do so. My producer has got the word, then I'll come to you, Shugato. But RP Singh asked me, please play the exact words. And I can play the entire 4-minute chunk, which is much clearer. But you wanted that specific chunk, listen in, and I want you now to respond. Please.
जो लोग अपने आप को हिंदू कहते हैं वो 24 घंटा हिंसा 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 नफरत 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 असत्य सत्य असत्य आप हिंदू हो ही नहीं जस्ट गेट मी दैट पिक्चर ऑफ शिवा इनसाइड स्पीकर्स ऑफिस हिंदू धर्म में साफ लिखा है सत्य के साथ खड़ा होना चाहिए सत्य से पीछे नहीं हटना चाहिए सत्य से नहीं डरना चाहिए अहिंसा हमारा प्रतीक है अभय मुद्रा
जो लोग अपने आप को हिंदू कहते हैं एंड ही देन आल्सो रिफर्स हिंदुइज्म स्टैंड्स फॉर अहिंसा Sardar RP Singh, how much, let's go beyond this twisting of remarks. That's not the real issue. Why is the BJP, as I said, getting so hot under the collar? You should be dismissive without misinterpreting what was said.
Rajdeep.
Yes.
Rajdeep, I'm not very sure whether you are a Hindu or not. I'm a Hindu by definition of Supreme Court. Sapal Saab is a Hindu by the definition of Supreme Court. I'm not very sure about you. So जो अपने को हिंदू कहते हैं, I mean, you are telling us we are hinsak, we are violent. That is, I mean, I am saying, am I violent that way?
He specifically
so
referred.
Make it that way. There is nothing wrong with it. Give me a second, Rajdeep. Allow me to complete.
Let him complete. Gurdeep, let him complete.
Sir, he is continuing what he did in the election. Give me a second, please. He is continuing with what he did in the election, targeting Muslim vote. It's the same man who said, "हम Muslim party hai." 2018 in Srinagar. He said we are a Muslim party. He is targeting Muslim vote bank even now.
Okay.
He is not understanding elections are over.
Okay, you made your point. You made your point. I think I have made mine. I have put very clearly what Rahul Gandhi said. I will let the viewers decide. It's not you versus me, sir. Just a minute. Sir, just a minute. RP Singh, you made your point. There are others who have to also speak. Shogato, as you saw, even in these 15 minutes, it becomes contentious. The moment you enter religious terrain, you put up these images, you speak about Hinsak Hindus, it can be easily misinterpreted, misquoted out of context. Should Rahul Gandhi therefore be much more careful when you're making these speeches? He too needs to take a step back.
I completely agree with you, Rajdeep. See, as I told you earlier, I thought Rahul Gandhi would be a reconciler. Because in the last 10 years, religion has been used as a weapon by the BJP. So and religion is a landmine, Rajdeep. I mean, as you rightly said, in the social media landscape, it's the 30 seconds becomes more important than the 4 minutes. So the 30 seconds will get played and replayed and will get into a loop. So it's bound to be, extrapolated, misinterpreted, misquoted, placed out of context. So, I mean, it was best for Rahul Gandhi to stay away from offering a religious discourse, whatever his belief was, whether the Trishul in the right hand means something and the left hand means something. I don't think Parliament was the place to do that. And I think he had started off on a very good note by creating a frame of constitution for everything that he was trying to do. So he should have stuck to that. And I don't think bringing in religion suddenly, he should have played the role and the kind of image that he had created for himself during the Bharat Jodo 1. Bharat Jodo 1, he was trying to be a reconciler. That image was very, very appropriate to heal the nation, which had actually given a very sober verdict. But I think he has raked up things and BJP is going to use it. He has walked into a trap that they had set.
You heard this, Gurdeep Sappal, that there is a possibility that from being the reconciler, he's back to being this rebellious figure. Now, if he wanted to be the rebellious figure, then, as I said earlier, raise specific points, whether it's on NEET, whether it's on Agniveer, be specific one by one. He was shifting from one point to the other as if he wanted to sort of get everything in, when he could have been far more focused. Is that a weakness, this spontaneity? Is that a strength or a weakness? Are you trying to contrast him with what Narendra Modi does, which is well-rehearsed, well-spun rhetoric?
Rajdeep, I don't think I should take the analysis of Mr. Sagato very seriously, because he started with saying that the speech lacked sobriety. Then the second speaker said in your show that it lacked maturity. And you also said Rahul Gandhi should have been more careful. And this on a day when in both the houses, two presiding officers in respective houses directed Prime Minister's words to be taken off record. In Rajya Sabha, when Mr. Kharge mentioned Mujra thing, the chairman said it is defamatory, derogatory. And in Lok Sabha, when Rahul Gandhi raised the issue of related to Mr. Modi, the chair said it will not go on record. We are in an era when Prime Minister, which you said made well-rehearsed speeches, has made speeches which even these presiding officers belonging to his own party and RSS are ashamed of.
You're referring to the Mujra Mangal Sutra speech.
It will not allow to go them on record. On that day, we are picking holes in Rahul Gandhi's speech. Yes, he did speak about NEET. He did speak about farmers. He did speak about Manipur. He did speak about Jammu and Kashmir. He spoke about violence against Muslims. But as a leader of Congress Party and of India Alliance and as LOP, he will also speak about ideology on which 37% people voted for BJP and rest voted against BJP.
Okay, you're making an important point there, Mr. Sappal. You're making an important point saying this is an ideological fight that Rahul Gandhi has taken into the BJP camp. And therefore RP Singh, today we are attacking
to be away from ideology.
You're attacking Rahul Gandhi, sir, for showing images of Shiva and Guru Nanak. I didn't hear a word from you, Sardar RP Singh, when the Prime Minister of the country, no less, spoke of Mangal Sutra, of Ghuspetia, of Mujra during the elections. Blatant, brazen hate speech was allowed during the elections, RP Singh, and Rahul Gandhi speaks of ahimsa, and you're getting hot under the collar. I mean, the BJP, sir, with due regard, should also then say that we are sorry about the hate speeches during the elections.
It's just the parliament or some public meeting.
So you can say what you want in a public meeting and get away. Come on, RP Singh.
I knew that. You not for me. I mean, you never interjected, Sappal Saab.
No, Sappal ji, please don't intervene. Let RP Singh respond.
How can you behave like this?
Sorry, please go ahead. My apologies.
Thank you, Rajdeep. As I said, he's still in that election mode when he gives this such a speech where he says that Hindus are violent. And as I was saying, it is from that we are a Muslim party to that Hindus are terrorists or talking about the saffron terror, or talking about Sanatana as evil. So this is all in continuation to that. It's nothing that this out of context. When he spoke about it as the DNA of the Congress, the new Congress is, and it's not the first time. He has been doing it repetitively. So and this time he has done this in the parliament.
Okay.
And also that give me a second. Please give me a second. As far Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji's go, please, I'm requesting you, please, you understand and appreciate. In my Sikhism, on Chappal Sahib Sikhism, in the tenets, we are not supposed to use the pictures or the ideals of gurus for any other objective. When we believe in Guru Granth Sahib.
Sir, we are not also
he
supposed...
misused it for his political objective. Give me a second,
No, sir, you made your point. You made your point. You are repeating the same point. You are not supposed to use images for political objectives, nor are you supposed to resort to hate speech during election campaigns. There is no difference when you do it, whether electoral platform or parliament, you cannot resort to hate speech. This is what has resulted. Just a minute. Voices down. Amitabh Triwari, I want you to give me a concluding point about how this will shape parliament. Is this the new, as we said, the momentum, because the opposition has the numbers, that they are going to sort of virtually use every opportunity to do muckraking, as some would call it, or be more aggressive as others would?
No, see, essentially, the numbers suggest that the opposition leaders will also get now a higher amount of time to speak. Now, Rahul Gandhi himself spoke for some 101 minutes. Now we'll have to see how much time the Prime Minister takes to counter all of this. So now we have some good quality speakers from the opposition. Earlier, we used to say that opposition lacks good quality speakers in Hindi language. Now we have 37 MPs from Samajwadi Party. Now you have a confident Rahul Gandhi. Now you have members from TMC and other opposition parties who would raise up the issues of the people. And this is going to be difficult for the BJP, not comparatively difficult for the BJP, because they also now lack some of the firepower, because some of the ministers and aggressive speakers from the treasury benches have lost in the elections. See what Rahul Gandhi is trying to do. He is trying to suggest or take this battle into a Bhagwan versus an Insan contest.
Okay.
He directly subtly hinted at the non-biological claim of the allegedly non-biological claim.
Not even subtly, more directly, actually.
Directly, correct. So he is trying to portray this as a Bhagwan versus an Insan contest, and that is what is likely to perhaps happen in the next 5 years.
Let's leave it there. Bhagwan versus Insan, as we've seen, this is only round one. What will we see in the future? Tomorrow the Prime Minister will respond, so we'll wait to see how the Prime Minister responds. But I've run out of time, but I appreciate all my guests joining us and giving us a sense of where they stand on what Rahul Gandhi said and did in his opening speech of Parliament. I wish we could speak more about the issues that he raised, not just about the battle over who is a good Hindu and who is not. Let's turn to the other story that we've been tracking, and this is going to be part of a sustained discussion that we are going to have, because today India's new criminal laws have come into effect. These laws will replace the colonial era Indian Penal Code, the Code of Criminal Procedure and the Indian Evidence Act. These new laws, including the Bharat Nyaya Sanhita, essentially claim to focus more on justice than punishment. But there are concerns, the opposition claiming that the laws were bulldozed when Parliament suspended them in the winter session. How are these laws being seen? A short while ago, I spoke to P. Chidambaram. Listen in. So to carry forward the debate that we will have right through this week on the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the new criminal laws, I'm joined by the former Finance and Home Minister of the country, eminent lawyer, P. Chidambaram, joins me. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Chidambaram. Let's start with your views on the new 3 criminal laws to replace IPC, CRPC and Indian Evidence Act that have come into force today. You've said there are several retrograde provisions. Some of them are prima facie unconstitutional. Do you want to specifically tell me what is retrograde and unconstitutional according to you in these new laws?
There are several provisions which are retrograde. For example, the opportunity should have been taken to improve the laws, to bring it in line with modern criminal jurisprudence. Now, I can't call the present provision unconstitutional, but to continue with death penalty, to continue with adultery as a crime, to continue with sedition as a crime, all this is completely retrograde. That apart, the bail provisions are capable of two interpretations, maybe more than two interpretations. And if one interpretation is accepted, it would be retrograde and unconstitutional. For example, one interpretation is that you can keep a person in police custody for 60 to 90 days. Now that's obviously retrograde because the current law is police custody is only for a maximum of 15 days and that too within the first 15 days of arrest. But one interpretation is that they can take the 15 days in bits and pieces, spread over 60 to 90 days. Now, what will the poor magistrate do? If a police officer, the prosecuting officer says, I want your custody for 5 days, and then he says, I will ask his custody again after a break of 1 week, what will the magistrate do for that intervening 1 week? Will he give them bail? No, he will send him to judicial custody. So effectively, for 60 to 90 days, nobody can get bail under the new provisions. Now, there are several such provisions which are retrograde. For example, they have made a distinction between sentence for life and sentence for the remainder of the life. We pointed out that these two, do they mean the same thing or do they mean different things? If they mean different things, then please explain where sentence for life will apply and sentence for the remainder of the life will apply. No attempt has been made to accept our criticism or pointing out the error and correct it. There are several provisions which are retrograde.
Sir, you're saying these are provisions which are retrograde. At the same time, interestingly, you've said there are few improvements also in the new laws and you welcome them.
Of course.
So, can you tell me a provision which you think is a positive development?
A provision which is a positive development is that, except in the cases of crucial witnesses, the formal witnesses can be examined virtually on video, which is a welcome provision. There is a provision which says that an official record need not be proved only by the author of the record. The author holds an office, and if his successor steps in, the successor can prove it. These are certainly improvements, which we accept.
Because
we have not criticized the improvements.
But
these improvements can be done. Just a moment.
Yes.
These improvements could have been done by an amendment. There's no need to replace the law.
The Home Minister is saying he's replaced. The Home Minister is saying he's replaced what he calls a colonial legislation. He says after 77 years of independence, the country has a completely Swadeshi legal system embedded in Indian ethos. Justice has replaced punishment in the new criminal laws.
This is the most hollow argument. I've spent hours creating a two-table column for each bill, putting the existing provisions on one column and the replacing provisions in another column. Now, take, for example, the Indian Penal Code. It has 25 chapters containing 511 sections. of which 3 chapters have only 1 section each. So if you remove the 3 sections or ignore the 3 sections, 3 chapters are knocked out. Of the remaining 23 chapters, 18 out of 23 chapters, word for word, have been copied and pasted. Far from removing the colonial law, they have paid a tribute to Lord Macaulay. Far from removing the colonial law, they have paid a posthumous tribute to Lord Macaulay. And according to the government's own quantitative analysis, 24 sections have been deleted and 22 sections have been added. In 511 sections, if you remove 24 sections and add 22 sections, 48 sections, 46 sections are affected. They could have been brought by an amendment.
So you're saying
every single section.
You're saying it's mainly a kind of a copy-paste job from the previous laws. It doesn't have anything distinctive about it. Is your primary concern, particularly when it comes to custody, which has different interpretation, that it is giving the police again huge discretionary powers? You were a former home minister, now it's Amit Shah, and the general feeling is no government has been willing to truly have police independence, make the police independent of the executive. Instead, with laws like this, they will have huge discretionary powers that they can use on behalf of the government. For example, when it comes to Section 152, which is in a way the new definition of sedition.
See, please understand, that's why I said sedition is being retained. It just got a different section number.
Yes.
Every section number has been changed. Now, why is every section number changed? Everybody knows, even the lowest constable knows, 302 is murder. Now you'll have to hunt for where 302 is. Everybody knows. Several sections, every law student, every lawyer, every judge, every constable knows by heart. Now he'll have to hunt for the sections. Now what will happen, I'll tell you. The Law Commission was not consulted. This is the first time a so-called major exercise by the government to replace 3 very, very important laws has not been referred to the Law Commission. What is the Law Commission for? It is the only competent body which is consulted in framing new laws. Now, why was this matter not referred to the Law Commission? Why was it sent to a select, hand-picked body of persons, most of whom served on a part-time basis? Is this the way to frame a law? Now, what will happen, I'll tell you. In the short term, there will be utter confusion among lawyers, judges, police, and there will be myriad interpretations. As many courts, as many interpretations. In the medium term, there will be huge litigation. Petitions have already been filed in the Supreme Court. They will be filed in the High Court. They will be filed in each High Court. And by the time the law is settled by the Supreme Court, it will take months. In the medium term, there will be huge litigation. In the long term, another government will have to come and clear all the overgrowth, undergrowth, and chop and cut and clean up the law. If I was doing this, we will take the law, refer it to the Law Commission, and ask them to suggest changes which will bring the laws in tune with modern criminal jurisprudence. For example, death penalty should have been abolished. Adultery should no longer be a crime. Sedition should have been removed. And an explicit provision incorporating Justice Krishnaiya's dictum. Bail is the rule, jail is the exception, must have been expressly, explicitly incorporated in the law.
So, net, what you are saying, there are specific aspects of the law which you find retrograde and unconstitutional. There are elements that you are welcoming, but you believe these elements could have been brought in through amendments. You did not need a complete rejig with the new nomenclature of laws. You believe this will cause only more confusion, and will perhaps eventually even give the police even more discretionary powers. Am I broadly correct?
You're broadly correct. Let me add a line. The so-called improvements are so few that they can be counted on the fingers of two hands. There are so few improvements, and they could have been easily incorporated by amendment. Instead of renumbering every section has been renumbered. It's a mischievous mind which renumbers every section.
It will lead perhaps only to more confusion in police stations, which of course is another concern, especially at the lower constabulary that many citizens have to deal with. Either way, I do hope, Mr. Chidambaram, that there will be a dialogue. The Home Minister has said he is open to any questions as well as clarifications and any suggestions. So I hope you will provide some of these suggestions to Home Minister Shah.
I wish he keeps the promise, because we wrote detailed dissent notes. Not only I, several other members, lawyer members, wrote detailed dissent notes. None of the dissent notes have been taken into account.
Okay.
Besides, the debate took place on 19th and 20th of December in the Lok Sabha, 21st of December in the Rajya Sabha. Not one opposition member participated because 146 members had been suspended and thrown out. So there was no debate in the Law Commission, no debate in the Parliament. And therefore, if the law minister, the Home Minister, wisdom prevails, they should put it on hold and hold a conclave, invite eminent people, judges, lawyers, senior lawyers, etc., to a conclave, take their suggestions, refer it to the Law Commission, and go by the advice of the Law Commission.
Okay.
That is my suggestion.
Let me leave it there. Mr. Chidambaram, thanks very much for joining us and sharing your suggestions, your wisdom with us once again. Appreciate it. Let's turn from there to our good news story. And I leave you tonight with a happy story, because I take you to the heart of Malihabad in Uttar Pradesh, where one man's passion for mangoes has blossomed into a remarkable legacy. Haji Kalimullah Khan is known fondly as the mango magician, has cultivated over 300 varieties on a single tree through his innovative techniques. I leave you with this mango story. Stay well, remain an Aam Aadmi. Good night, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
This tree in Malihabad is a special one. Over 300 varieties of mangoes have grown on it. The man behind the miracle is Haji Kalimullah Khan, popularly known as the Aam Ke Jadugar or Mango Magician. The high school dropout used innovative grafting techniques to make it possible. And what pushed him to do it was a decades-old local competition.
यहाँ के जो जिम्मेदार छोटे बड़े थे, वो बड़ा प्यार था। वो आमों को तैयार करते थे और आपस में जब तैयार करके लाके तारीख रखी जाती थी तो लाके मलिहाबाद में नवाब साहब के वहाँ या कहीं जहाँ भी हो किसी बाग में उन आमों को रखा जाता था और आम खाए जाते थे। खाने के बाद उन आमों में ये फैसला किया जा सकता कि किसका आम, किन साहब का आम ज़्यादा अच्छा है।
जब हमारी ये ख्वाहिश है कि ये सचिन को इस अंदाज में देखा जाए तो ये आम इतना लजीज भी है।
Khan also started a new practice, naming mangoes after renowned personalities as a tribute to them.
तो मैंने सोचा कि ये सचिन को तोहफे में दे दिया जाए।
हम ये चाहते हैं हमारे मुल्क के जो लोग ऐसे हैं रहती दुनिया तक वो जिंदा रहें, क्योंकि एक वक्त ऐसा आएगा कि कुछ भी किया हो, कुछ भी हो, तो अगर खाली नाम है तो वो नाम रुक जाएगा। मसलन ऐश्वर्या का नाम हमने सबसे पहले ऐश्वर्या का नाम रखा सबसे पहले, उसके बाद नमो मोदी साहब का नाम हो, क्योंकि मोदी साहब का भी एक कारनामा इतना बड़ा है कि दुनिया में किसी बादशाह का नहीं है।
The self-trained horticulturist claims that he rebuffed offers from other countries to stay in India.
अमेरिका में दो मुल्कों में गए हम ईरान और दुबई गए, हमको दुबई वालों ने 10 तोले का बिस्कुट सोने का दिया, लेकिन हमने कहा भाई हम नौकरी नहीं करेंगे, हमारे बस का नहीं है ये, क्योंकि हमें मुल्क से प्यार है, पैसे से प्यार नहीं।
Kalimullah Khan was awarded the Padma Shri in 2008. The Mango Magician wants to be remembered by mango lovers for his work.
हमारी सोच जरूर ऐसी है कि जब हम दुनिया से जाएं तो कुछ अच्छी बातें, अच्छी चीजें, अच्छे फल, खास करके आमों में अच्छे से अच्छे फल बनाकर दुनिया को दे के जाएं कि लोग उससे फायदा उठाएं और शौक से आम खाएं और हमें भी याद करें।
With Shilpi Sen, Bureau Report, India Today.